to follow me on Twitter. And it's Thursday, May 16th. We'll be taking a look at there's not much going on today. The 5-game MLB slate tonight, starting at 6:40 Eastern. We can talk props or pick them or anything that you guys want to talk about. So always throw the comments in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button. Give me those thummy thumbs. I'll wave them at you. You know how much I like the like button. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Hit the notification bell to know when we go live. Join with me, Alex Sonty from Chicago area, right? Right. It's
yes. Chicago proper. Don't say Chicago area. I'm from Chicago.
You're real Chicago, right?
41 years, baby.
Alex, you say that in a way, the same exact way, because it's maybe me and you will get it. Like people from like proper cities, like get it because when I tell people like I'm from New York, it's like where in New York, like proper New York, like Brooklyn, like real New York, like not Long Island, not Westchester, right? Not like the outskirts or anything like that. No, proper. I'm from New York City proper. So when he said that, it's like, oh, okay, I've been to Chicago, and like you know, if you're from if you're out in like Hoffman Estates, like that's not Chicago.
No, it's not Chicago. They have gated communities out there. I don't know what they're trying to keep out. It's Hoffman Estates, but whatever.
I mean, when you go out to the suburbs of Chicago, it almost feels like you could be anywhere. Like it just
you'd be anywhere. Like, every suburb is different. Every suburb is different.
And things are. I mean, whatever. Okay, so we got a baseball game slate tonight, and
purportedly,
we don't have any weather issues, but obviously, maybe Pittsburgh, Chicago, gently out to
There's supposed to be some rain, isn't there?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe the rain is earlier. I could be wrong.
Oh, because you're in Chicago. You can't listen. Alex, are you listening to the local weather guys? And not
no, I get the notification on my phone like it's gonna rain. So, but it is gonna rain. It's gonna be like later in the afternoon though. So,
okay,
we should be clear by game time. It looks like.
But obviously later tonight, if you tune into the channel, hit that notification bell. I'm assuming we're gonna have a crunch time before the slate later today, and they'll break down everything for you. Remember, this is a first look. I mean, we're 8 hours away, 7.5 hours away. So I still need to wait for confirmed lineups and everything. But we'll look through it. And the thing about these 5-game slates, I know, Alex, you're big into game theory just like I am. These smaller slates in MLB DFS, I tend, and I've said this to other people before, I tend to not worry as much about projections. Like the difference of a point doesn't matter that much median-wise.
Agreed.
And I think more like, if you think of those 3 levers of DFS, the projection lever, the leverage lever, and the correlation lever, it's like these are the types of slates where as the slate gets smaller, I think a lot of that leverage lever of like, what pitcher is going to be popular that, what percentage of the time that they don't do very well, and if they get bombed, like I'm just going to win everything because like all these other lineups have like no points, and I have the complete negatively correlated outcome to the ownership. And it's one of the few things that you could do in MLB that you really can't do in a lot of other sports. Mm-hmm. But I say that, Alex, but our projection on Tyler Glasnow against Cincinnati, he's like 7 points, 7.5 points clear, median projected of any other pitcher on the slate. And if you don't play him, boy, I mean,
it's rough.
I mean, he's from a talent perspective. I mean, obviously Jared Jones, we don't know. I mean, he's a rookie. But for the most part, from a talent perspective, he's clear above everyone else. Are you more taking a first look at the slate, Alex? Would you be seeing the difference between Glasnow's pitching projection and everyone else?
Yes.
Are you more inclined? We're talking in smaller field stuff. Smaller, 500, 1,000 entry or less even. Are you more inclined to just, because pitching is less variant than hitting, that just eat Glasnow and then get different elsewhere? Or would you be perfectly fine with, like, maybe not stacking the Reds against Glasnow, but maybe Glasnow pitches 5 innings, 7 strikeouts, but he gives up 3 earned runs, a bunch of walks, and he's sitting there with like 18 points, which is like no one's going to kill you, even at like 60, 70% ownership. And you just get those points from all these other pitchers that are like 3,000 cheaper. And if Justin Steele matches him or something, like then obviously you have money for bats that the Glasnow lineups can't.
It depends on the lineups that I can build with Glasnow. If I can build lineups with Glasnow that are highly correlated and have a lot of leverage, I'll eat the chalk with Glasnow playing 3, maybe 5 lineups at the most. If I can't really build those lineups around his salary because he's expensive, if all of my builds are going to be chalky builds, forget the individual pieces of the ownership. I think when these slates are smaller, we really look toward what our builds look like relative to the rest of the field more than what individual players or individual stacks even look like. So if I can have a contrarian build with Glasnow, yeah, sure. I mean, it's by far the best play on the slate projection wise, but I don't have to play him. I mean, I'm going to flip this script on you. I know you're the host, but I'm going to play host for 2 minutes here. Can you name 5 pitchers on an 8-game slate in a neutral matchup, neutral ballpark that you would play for 45% ownership at 10K? Can you name 5 active pitchers right now that you would do that with?
Probably. I
can't.
I get your point, but I mean, it's like it's not like it used to be. Like,
no,
it's not like
isn't
when we had Strider, DeGrom, Scherzer.
When we had $14,000 Kershaw, we still jammed him in because he was a Hall of Famer. Right. He was pitching like a Hall of Famer.
But even this people like Aaron Nola isn't the same Aaron Nola even anymore.
No,
I don't even view him like Shane Bieber, even though he's injured now. Like Shane Bieber wasn't the same. Like Shane Bieber used to strike out 10 guys, and now he's like, okay, I'll strike out 5 or 6.
Well, then he went to Driveline and worked on his velocity, got the velocity back, and he wrecked up his elbow.
Right. even a guy like Luis Castillo, like his ceiling has come down also.
Very much so.
But out of all those pitchers, truthfully, the guy that's ceiling really hasn't come down is Tyler Glasnow. Right. But we've also the thing is we've also seen him get into, I mean, when he's on, I mean, yeah, you're gonna need him in your lineup. But I mean, he's not someone that typically pitches more than 100 pitches. I mean, we have his pitch count, and the bat has his pitch count at 92 as a median. Like, he gets into periods where he can walk 2 guys in an inning. He can have 3 or 4 walks, and next thing you know, he's pitching 5 innings, and he may. That's why I said, like, on this slate, I still think like it's quite possible that he pitches 5 innings, gets 7 strikeouts, gives up 3 runs, and he's still maybe the highest. He still may be the highest point scoring pitcher on the slate, because when we look at all these, you got underneath him probably the 2 more popular options are going to be Justin Steele against Pittsburgh, Javier against Oakland, and you got issues with their pitch counts because they probably don't even pitch 90 pitches.
Yeah,
and then you got like what Cheese would call cheap nonsense as the 2 pitchers in the Mets Phillies games. I'm not a big Jose Quintana guy, but he's only 5,100, and Taijuan Walker's 6,300. In a revenge game, I guess, against the Mets. To combine with that, the issue is that let's say you don't play Glasnow, and you play a lineup like, imagine playing a lineup of both pitchers in the Mets Phillies game. Like, I'm not even like, you could essentially build an Astros Dodgers lineup with like all the key players. The problem is that
you might be leaving all the money.
Right. That's exactly the point. It's like I think you could play Glasnow and Steele or something and still play a Dodger stack and an Astro stack on this slate.
Are we concerned about Steele's pitch count in the 70 to 75 range? It's not a terrible price tag. It has him at 84. Okay.
Right.
it's tough to see with him because I feel like wasn't he projected somewhere around 80 last time out and he didn't get there, but I think he got shelled. Did he get shelled last time? Is that what happened?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
Let's see. I'll take a quick game log look.
But even like Javier against
he
Oakland,
got shelled. So he only threw. He was projected for around 80. He only threw 74, but he allowed 6 runs in 4 innings.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so 84 could be a realistic projection then.
To me, that makes me want to play the Pirates.
That's funny you went there because when you were rattling off names and ownership, I said this kind of makes me want to play the A's.
Well, but to me, it's the same concept, though, right, Alex?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like I'm not going to stack because do I think that the Reds with a 2.59 implied team total are going to be the stack of the slate? It's like, yeah, it gives you the most leverage, but you need to get the stack that scores 6-7 runs, and like Glasnow could fail, and the Cincinnati stack could fail also, both at the same time. Where
Glasnow failing is. Yeah, Glasnow failing could be 4 earned runs allowed in 6 innings still.
Right.
And 4 runs isn't going to get you anywhere.
Right. But pitchers like Steele and Javier are much more are not as good pitchers as Glasnow, right? I mean,
and Javier, I think I said that was interesting because Javier is considerably worse than Justin Steele. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, I would say that the downsides are bigger. I think Javier upside is that when Javier is good, I think he's much better than Steele. But I think on a baseline, like when Javier's bad, when he gets going and he's bad,
oh man,
boy, he's
I mean, nothing finds the strike zone, and then he's the classic example of why we talk about walks. Some people have asked me, why do we care about walks? Why do we care about walks? When a guy gets behind in the pitch count and runners get on base, he starts forcing strikes. Someone comes out to the mound and says, like, look, we can't have more walks. Like, you've given up too many walks in a row. Literally, you're going to walk in a run. They force in strikes, and those are meatballs. And they serve up meatballs to these hitters. And major league hitters, when you force strikes to them, they rock them out of the park. I don't care what your
the other thing is that when you're walking batters, you're giving more opportunity. You get 2 things that happen. Is that for instance, if I told you that Javier walked 6 guys today, all you're telling me also another thing. You're telling me that all the Oakland hitters have extra upside because they have RBI opportunities almost every at bat, right? So they have an extra ability to get points. And obviously those guys also are getting 2 points for a walk and 2 points for a run when they get scored in. But here's another thing.
There's also stolen base upside.
What?
There's also stolen base upside.
Well, that
Oakland's got a little bit of speed.
But another thing, and the key thing that people always forget about correlation, they get all worked up about, I need to build a stack where it's like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or stuff like that. The main piece of correlation between hitters in MLB for DFS is plate appearances.
Yes.
If a team puts up a ton of runs, that means like no one's getting out. So like you're getting, while someone else, is playing a game, a stack, maybe they score 5 runs or whatever, but it's like solo shots and stuff like that. Like most of those batters are getting like 3 and 4 at bats. Like, but a guy that's pitchers coming in and walking everyone, like it may end up that like, let's say Javier walks 6 guys. You may see that the top, like the top half of the Oakland lineup are getting 5 at bats during the game. And that's a big edge. If I told you, would you rather play Alex? I mean, this is an obvious question. If I told you that that all the Oakland A's batters get 5 at bats, wouldn't you just like lock them in? Like just.
I mean, Rooker's the only one who costs anything. I think Langoliers is like is somewhere around the 4K range. But I mean, yeah, sign me up. You're telling me they're going to get 5 plate appearances. They're on the road. They're going to get walked. They've got some speed. They've got a lot of thump too. They don't connect with the ball very often, but when they connect with the ball, I mean, we see in the StatCast data that they hit the ball very hard and very well, very often. I'm trying to take a look here. So Christian Javier, his first strike rate is 59.3%, which is up from his career rate of about 53%. So he's really more of like a 55% first strike guy. Another thing with walks is if you're telling me that he's going to walk 5 batters, you're telling me he's getting behind in the count probably 12 times. you know.
But to me,
I
the
like my
main
odds there.
descriptor is I just told you that 9 hitters on a team are getting 5 at bats, 5 plate appearances.
5 point,
The
yeah.
description of that means they like in order to get 5, if in order for Seth Brown batting 7th to get a 5th plate appearance, or Max Schumann batting 8th in the projected lineup, that means the team is doing pretty like
Yeah.
let's make
That
it
means
to
they're
the extreme
rolling.
example. 6 if JJ Bleday batting 2nd got 6 at bats, like that's how
We're talking about
correlation in MLB, why correlation matters so much, is that compared to another team where they may only get 3 or 4 at bats. So it's like the Dodgers. It's like, oh, the Dodgers and the Astros have the highest team totals, right? We see here. I think Kyle Tucker is one of the highest projected raw point batters today.
yeah.
He's 6,100. But if I told you Kyle Tucker 4 at bats, if I could tell you for
no.
a fact that Kyle Tucker was only going to get 4 at bats, but JJ Bleday would get 6 at bats, you would stay away. You wouldn't. It's not only that you wouldn't play Kyle Tucker, you may not even play any Astros.
You wouldn't play any Astros, and you'd play Joey Estes.
Right, exactly.
Which, I mean, we could get into Joey Estes now, but I don't know if you want to wait. This guy. Oof. Joey Estes' minor league history is pretty rough. Have you looked at it?
No, but I mean, for him to have an 80, I thought for a second that he was an opener because the projection was so low on him in the bat, right? But he's 7. Like, he's the type of pitcher on this slate. I think him and Nick Martinez against the Dodgers, that it almost feels like if these guys were 4K, I may not even play them.
No. I mean, so I looked up Joey Estes before his last start because I think I wrote him up on Prize Picks or something, or someone against him on Prize Picks. And let's see. So in AAA, he pitched in the PCL, big time hitters league. The ballparks are smaller. It's hot. It's humid. You get a lot of elevation in that league.
The PCL is where you see a batter. The guy is 31 years old, never been in the majors, and he has like a old school stats. He has like a 348 batting average with 38 home runs,
38 homers, 140 RBIs.
Right? How is this guy not in the majors? And it's like, no, because he's really not that good. It's the PCL.
Yeah. But he gave up 2.5 homers per 9 in PCL. That's still a lot for PCL. So okay, let's give him a little rope. What did he do in AA? In 104 innings of AA, which is a decent sample for AA, 1.2 homers per 9 against AA hitters. In high A ball, 91 innings, not a terrible sample for high A ball, 1.7 homers per 9. His strikeouts per 9, he's basically around a strikeout per inning in the minors. So you fast forward to the majors. Major league hitters are going to make more contact against him. They're going to make more hard contact against him. It's a high frequency of high quality contact situation, and it's the Astros who don't really strike out. If I were to guess, if you couldn't tell me, hey, who's going to score the most runs? I couldn't tell you who's going to score the most runs, but who's going to get the most plate appearances? It feels like it's got to be the Astros against this guy, Joey Estes, who doesn't belong in the major leagues.
And then and of course the lefties against him are just like probably licking their lips.
I mean,
right?
So is Alex Bregman, so is Jeremy Pena, so is Yanyer Diaz, so is Mauricio Dubon. It's play everyone spot. It's a cookout. Invite everyone. Invite the second cousins.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the Astros are going to be the highest owned stack on the slate. I mean, you take a look.
They should be.
Right. And I think the value part is the Red Sox against Zach Littell. I mean, if we take bats,
our early returns on which is very raw, actually has Boston as the top owned stack, 16%, Tampa 13.5, Dodgers 12.7, and the Astros about 12.7. So there could be some coagulation of top stacks according to RG ownership.
Right. Yeah, the bat thinks that the Phillies are going to be higher owned, and I disagree with that.
I disagree with that. I mean, Joey Estes is. I don't know how anyone takes a look at Joey. Well, this is how you take a look at Joey Estes and still avoid the Astros. You want to play Tyler Glass now, right? The 500-pound gorilla in the room.
But you can play the Astros even with Glass now.
You can, but a lot of people, once they see they can't play Tucker and Alvarez, how many of them, what percentage of the field is going to say, well, I can't play Alvarez and Tucker, I'm just going to find another team. I can't play Alvarez and Altuve, maybe I'll just find another team. Because they don't want to sink down to the bottom of the order because they're not thinking about if the stack goes off, they're going to get a lot of plate appearances for Joey Loperfido, for Yainer Diaz, for Mauricio Dubon, you know?
Right. Well, Loperfido, I don't expect Loperfido to have more than 2 plate appearances once Estes is a lefty comes in.
He's going to turn into like Jake Myers or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So at least I can understand that. But I mean, for the most part, or same for Singleton. I mean, Singleton, he's going to turn into a righty also. I mean, at some point. That's why I like when left-handed pitchers pitch, Alex. I love days where the stack that I want to play is facing a left-handed pitcher because you look and you go, well, those righties ain't coming out of the line, right?
Yeah, the righties.
And any lefty that's in the lineup is going to stay in also because they wouldn't have. Why are they doing a lefty-lefty matchup to start if they're not going to play the whole game, right? They're not going to come in for another left, like some other lefty is going to pinch hit for him, like that's.
Yeah.
But of course, I said that yesterday with the Brewers. And look what happened there. It didn't matter, right? The Brewers don't care. They're gonna put up 10 runs even before they.
They're gonna do it.
Right.
This is also a slate where, and this happens a lot on smaller slates. We don't have to overthink the home run. I think we saw the Brewers break, I think, a 10 or 12 game slate Thursday or Friday, where they scored 9 or 10 runs with no homers. And it was just rallies and rallies. It was like the Bugs Bunny cartoon of, they just rounding the bases. And they were the top team on the slate without hitting home runs. And that could happen tonight where I see a lot of guys who don't strike guys out. Zach Littell, nearly 8K per 9. Cooper Criswell, 8K per 9. Brent Suter, 7.39. Quintana, 6.77. Joey Estes, 7.2. Walker, 7.2. Javier, 8.5. Nick Martinez, 8.2. These aren't high strikeout guys. There's going to be a lot of balls in play today. And these aren't guys who give up tons of home runs. So if you can get a rally, if you can get some speed on your lineup, you don't need, you might not need 6 home runs on your lineup to win a slate tonight.
The last pitcher I wanted to talk about was Jared Jones. I've just been fading him. I've just been 9,100 against Chicago, which is a good strikeout matchup. It's just like I'm always the type of person that if there's a small sample size, I just go against what people think, right? And just like we can't tell in a small sample size how good or bad someone is. So
you can't tell what his leash is,
right? Well, that too. Like when the bat has him at 84, and to me,
there's a wide range of outcomes.
Right, $9,100 pitcher. If you're going to tell me he's going to be like the second or third most owned pitcher, I don't see what you're doing. I guess these are the Red Sox lineups. If you're playing Glasnow plus Jared Jones at 9,100, it's like you ain't playing the Dodgers or the Astros.
No,
right? There's no way.
You gotta jump in the well with me and play the A's.
Right. But I almost would rather see what I would do, Alex, is that if I was playing the A's against Javier, is that I would still play like a Glasnow, Taijuan Walker type of lineup, and I would play the A's stack, but then be able to have the money to play Alvarez as a one-off or Tucker as a one, like you to pay for a 6K one-off.
Yeah. Well, you said the Cubs are not as much of a strikeout. I mean, if you look at the individual pieces, there are pieces that strike out a lot in the Cubs lineup, notably Morel, Bush, and Amaya, who is projected to catch. But the rest of the guys, it's kind of, say Suzuki's around 25%, okay, but it's like half the lineup. It's very polarizing.
Watchman has an over 20% strikeout rate, right?
20.7. I mean, that's not like. It's not fantastic.
It's not awful.
I can't wait to.
Would you change your mind if Patrick Wisdom was in the lineup with his 1,000,000% strikeout rate?
Yeah, I would change my mind if Patrick Wisdom was in there instead of Mike Tuchman. Yeah, But they're, when you coagulate them all together, Plate IQ has them as a 21.8% strikeout rate against right-handed pitchers going back to last season. That's not a great strikeout matchup.
It's not awful. You're right.
It's not a great strikeout matchup for Jared Jones.
Is the word of the day for you coagulate? Is that
probably? I had strep throat, so I had phlegm coagulating in my throat, irritating. So it's been on my mind of like.
Right, that's a big word for 11 o'clock in the morning on a daily fantasy sports show. Typically, we just call it combine, right? Once we combine all of that, right? It's like, okay, I know what that word means, but coagulate, like that's.
Oh, sorry about that, Jordan.
That's. Yeah, now I see how the Red Sox could be like the bottom of this Red Sox order. I mean, and they're all cheap. I mean, it's like Dom Smith, Vaughn Griffin, Romy Gonzalez. Like Vaughn Griffin at second base for 2,500.
He's interesting.
I mean,
Dominic Smith doesn't do those things anymore, though.
I mean, he doesn't project all that well, but he's 2,300,
no,
dude. He's the bargain in Walmart.
He's a bargain bin. He's a
like you go to Walmart, you go to that DVD bargain bin, Alex. Yeah. Like you're not going to pick out good movies. You just have to look and go, like, is Medea's Graduation 2 movie, like, will that get me through 90 minutes? And it's like, if that's the standard, like Paul Blart. Oh, look, I can get a DVD of Paul Blart Mall Cop. It's like, it's not a good movie, but then you look at the rest of the movies and it's like these like C productions that are made like straight to DVD, that it's like the fake Independence Day movie with horrible CGI or something like you're not going to get that, but it's like, oh, that's a brand name type of at least movie.
My first thought was remember WWE when they were WWF, they used to have the Saturday afternoon show Heat.
Yes,
it's like if he was on the
it's Superstars
Sunday.
On
that's Superstars was Saturday. Sunday afternoon was Heat.
Right, Superstars was like the garbage show, just like he was a bunch of crap.
If he was on the WWE roster, he'd be either on Heat or a jobber in dark matches. Right?
Yeah, but you're only paying
20. I get it.
Appearance fees, right? So like 2,300. Why not?
Is it really that much? Is that harder? That much harder to get up to John Singleton, though?
You're right. I mean, truthfully, you're right. I mean, what has happened with the Red Sox? I never thought I would see a day. I mean, maybe he's gotten better. I mean, only because I know
Connor Wong is hitting the ball very hard.
Connor Wong is the batting third.
So Connor Wong has been a StatCast darling for a little over a year, and it's finally starting to manifest into some results. I don't know what his stats are this season, but he has a 230 ISO this season, 388 WOBA against righties, and he's a righty. So he's the results are there. Whether this is the real him or not, who knows? But the results have been there this season up to this point, which could be why he's hitting harder.
You can see why I scratch my head.
Oh, there's a sticker shock when you see him hitting third in the order. There's a sticker shock there.
Well, I mean, he's only 3,600 in DFS. That's why.
No, I mean the sticker shock is like, why is he hitting so high?
Why is he hitting above? He's getting more plate appearances than Devers and O'Neill.
Devers was hitting second for a while, and they seem to be doing fine. I don't know why they switched that up. I mean, Rafi Devers is one of the hardest hitters in the league.
But do you want to? I mean, if you're going to play Glasnow,
I'm not playing the top-owned stack on a 5-game slate, Jordan. I'm not playing the top-owned stack on a 5-game slate. I'm just not doing it. If RG is telling me that Boston's going to be the top-owned stack and this stays this way throughout the day, I'm just not. It's cross off the list immediately. It's a 5-game.
Well, according to our early sims, Jared Jones is one of the most under-owned players on the slate. Like you see here, compared to optimals. I mean, obviously this is early. I mean, the ownership is going to change a bunch. Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think.
Our sim lines say this. That no, 69% optimal rate for Jared Jones seems way, and 44% for Tyler Glasnow. That seems a little.
I thought that would be flipped. If you told me
right, the number right, I could understand 44% for Jared Jones and still be underowned, but they're only 1,300 difference in price, so I don't. I don't know, but Alex, every time I do this, I go on these shows. I do these shows and I look at sim labs. Sometimes I look at them and I go, I don't get it. And then the slate happens, and then it's like, wow, I should have played Jared Jones over. Like it just sometimes it's just, not all the time, but a lot of the time it happens that way.
It happens a lot. Simlabs is kind of killing it with SP2s. Simlabs is definitely killing it with SP2s.
I'm just gonna run the basic, default, wide results range, small field. Obviously, you can get Simlabs here at RotoGrinders if you're a premium member, right? Sign up. We got a bunch of deals going on. You can try this out 3 days for $19.99. Not just Simlabs. You get you get all the sports, you get all the tools, you get lineup HQ, you get everything, right? All the premium content, Cheese's $1 Million Musings, you get everything for MLB and all the other sports. If you want to sign up for a month, you can take $40 off your first month. Or if you want to commit, you should commit to 6 months. You take a 6-month price, we'll knock off $250 off the total price. So click on that link in the description to learn more about that. But Simlabs, we got for MLB, we got for NBA, we got for PGA, NFL, and we're always adding stuff. So
my nose isn't really to the ground. Are we the only site that includes Sims with the subscription?
As far as I know, yes.
Yes, that's what I thought.
We're kind of we're an all you can eat place. We're gonna other than weirdly enough, other than NASCAR.
Other than NASCAR.
NASCAR is the only thing because that's
Stevie's got Derek Carty status when it comes to that.
Right. Yeah, same for the bat, right? The bat and the blitz for Derek Carty, right?
Yeah.
So, it's honestly, I don't play NASCAR DFS, but Stevie is probably the Mount Rushmore of NASCAR DFS content only has one face on it.
Yes.
There's no four of them. It's Stevie, and that's it.
Everyone I know who knows nothing about NASCAR, who buys a NASCAR package, says great things. Like they're making money every week. They're just printing it.
Right. And understand with Stevie, like he's going to these events. Like I see him going to events, and he's in like the pits. Like it's not like he's going as a fan or whatever. It's like he's talking to crews and stuff, like a media member. It's like, how the hell do you have access to this? It's like, yeah, that's because he's been into NASCAR for that long. That's what he is. Truthfully, Alex, I don't get NASCAR. I don't get auto racing. But
I don't get any sort of racing. I can watch F1 for like 20 minutes.
Right.
But that's about it.
But I watch soccer, and people tell me I don't get soccer, so it's kind of
we're talking baseball here, for Christ's sakes. How many people say baseball is boring? How do you deal with baseball? But
right. Okay, so I'm running 150 and I'm forcing in 5-man stacks, small field, wide results range. I'm just gonna look at the exposures. Yeah, Jared Jones, Jesus
Christ.
But it's not like Jared Jones instead of Tyler Glass now. It wants you
to play both. Barrel. So what do the sacks look like then? Is this where cheapy Boston and
A's? It likes your approach of playing the A's against Javier, right? Because look at the Dodgers in 150 lineups barely comes up. The Astros 14%. But the Mets are cheap, right? But look, this is the lineup. This is the number 1 ranked lineup. Glasnow Jones, it's a 5-3 lineup. That's A's Mets. It's Mets 5-man, A's 3-man. And look how cheap some of these batters are, right?
I like that lineup.
And you're still getting Alonso. And the thing is that you're paying up twice at pitching, but you still could play Pete Alonso at 4,800. You could still play Brandon Nimmo at 4,400. Like you're not like it's not like all the two game batters.
This is a solid lineup. I think that might be one of my 5 lineups tonight.
Obviously, all of this in Simlabs now is
everything is going to change.
Right, the projected orders are exactly what it should be. Right, even this lineup over here, like it's a Mets 5-man, 2 A's, and then you still be able to
Bryce
play
Harper
5,400. Right. And then here we come with the Red Sox lineups, right? So that's basically it's Mets at A's and the Red Sox. And you can still look Glasnow Jones, you're playing 5 Red Sox, and you're able to get Duran, Abreu, Grissom, Devers. You have normal people in this lineup.
And the question's gonna enter my DM. Can I play Grissom and Gonzalez in the same lineup? I know that question's gonna come to me. Of course you can.
Yeah.
It's right there for you.
But look, you could also play Jordan Alvarez in this lineup as a 1-0. So it's like you're not.
It's fantastic.
Right. Here's a Red Sox Mets lineup. But I'm much more likely if people are going to be playing the Red Sox too much, I'll play the Mets and I'll play Mets A's lineups.
Why not? That's a good looking lineup. That's a great looking lineup.
And look, even you're on the Mets for all the people that are like, well, I don't want to play like bottom of the order garbage or left-handed pinch hit risk guys or whatever. Like your stack on the Mets is 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like you're playing pretty much the main people. And on the A's, you're playing Toro at 1, Blade at 2, and Soderstrom at 5. So you're not playing the 8-9, 7-8-9. You know. But I mean, yeah, maybe we do. Maybe I say, hey, I'm going to play Jared Jones today. This may be the first time I play Jared Jones in DFS.
I played him in an afternoon slate when he was very high owned, but I had such a low owned stack. I think I played low owned Orioles with him, and the Orioles went nuts for me, and I did make some money. But it was
also to highlight the difference. Like I look at the bat projections. RG RotoGrinders here, our in-house projections, his median is 16.37, but the bat has him at 14.07. So obviously that's a major difference.
That's a big difference.
Like, yes, at those projections, like we on the screen right now are the pitcher bat projections. I can switch this over to RG's projections and see the difference. Oh, Glass now is even higher projected.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jones is projected for 20. So even Jones
So Jones is the second highest projected on RG, and he's basically the median pitcher for the bat.
On the bat. Yeah, it's a 6 point.
That's what we're talking about when we're talking about a difference. Like just relative to the other pitchers on the slate, we're talking about the second best one system and a median pitcher. A median pitcher for a good chunk of change at 9,100.
Right.
According to the bat.
Yeah, that's a very wide discrepancy. But I mean, you have to realize that with the bat, Derek Carty always says like the rookies and the small sample size stuff, the variance is going to be much higher.
Yeah.
And to the bat system, Jared Jones, while still being a good pitcher, is not as great as his stats show so far this season. But all he has to do is throw, like, if he threw 2 or 3 more good starts, great starts, like the bat would have him up where RotoGrinders does. I mean, at a point it does normalize. It just depends on how much weight do you put in on 4 starts. How many starts has Jared Jones had? 4?
4, I think.
4,
he's
5?
Also, and going back to the Cubs are kind of good. Right?
Well, the Cubs could hurt. The Cubs could.
Oh no, he's had a lot of starts. He's had a lot more than I thought.
6, 7,
8
how
starts.
Many starts? It's only been 7 weeks. How many starts?
I know. Why is this? Yeah. Wow. I'm pretty shocked by that.
But these relief appearances.
I mean, I'm seeing 89 pitches on March 30th. I don't remember this ever happening. Right?
Got 1, 2, 3, 4.
The
5.
Pirates play a lot of the early. They play a lot of those games in like the 6 o'clock Eastern hour before the main slate starts. So it could be that we just missed him because he's been playing those like turbo 2-3 game slates that we're not paying attention to.
But look, even though he's striking, for DFS purposes, we care a lot more about strikeouts.
We care about outs too. We get points for outs.
Right.
You got to stay in the game to get outs.
Just faced the Cubs. He only struck out 4 in 6 innings.
advantage
Against the
hitters
Giants,
second
he
time
struck out
around, right?
only 3 in 5 innings. And these other stats in the early of the season, he had 10, 7, 8, 7, 7. He gave up 2 home runs, 2 home runs, 1, 2 home runs. And it seems like the Cubs are that type of team that maybe Jones could go out and strike out 7 guys, but he'll give up 2 home runs in the process.
Or this is a case of a 4th time through the order and the Cubs shell him.
Right. I don't know. I'm not as confident as the RG projections are in Jared Jones.
I'm not. I was actually pretty
But I may
surprised
not
when I
be
saw
as
that.
low as the bat projections on him. Like, I would much rather play Jared Jones than play $8,400 Zach Little.
I'm not touching Zach Little.
Right. So that's kind of the point. I mean,
That's
even take a look
yeah.
at the strikeout prop. It's a much right.
And the
I'll
Justin
play
Steele
Justin
thing.
Steele again. I feel like Justin Steele against Pittsburgh was for 1,800 cheaper feels better to me.
That feels a
than
lot better.
Jared Jones.
I mean, we're paying $100 a pitch, right? With a chance of getting up to 85 pitches. Like that's pretty good for 7,300. Relative to the rest of the slate, it's pretty damn good because a lot of these guys, we see the pitch counts. I see 83 for Javier. I see Walker at 94. I mean, 94 pitches for Taijuan Walker could also just be 3 1/3 innings. If the sim labs are right and the Mets are going to crush, it can only be 3.2 innings for Taijuan Walker.
Well, I think a lot of the stuff in sim labs isn't necessarily that the Mets are going to crush. Is that Glasnow and Jared Jones on RotoGrinders project so well that like the Dodgers and the Astros are just not worth it. You'd rather get all those
like
this.
So a case like this, Jordan, where there's such a discrepancy between RG and the bat with Jones, would you X out Jones just to see what the Sims are spitting out?
I mean, you could just look at the other lineups. I mean, I don't like
just to see. No, just to see.
Yeah,
just
it's
for
really not a right. It's not a proper representation because you're just eliminating so many other. Like it'll show you. Like for instance, if I X'd out Jared Jones and it showed me like, oh yeah, 87% Taijuan Walker. It's like that jar of marbles that I always talk about. It's like here are all the plus EV lineups that you have to find in the jar of marbles.
It's gonna
right. And like I'm gonna get rid like all these blue marbles in here. And the red ones are the plus EV lineups. And you look in the jar and you see tons of red lineups. And you pick them out and they're all Jared Jones lineups. And it's like, well, I want to see what happens without Jared Jones. So you take out all those marbles and like Taijuan Walker is at 80% of the remaining marbles, but that's only represents 2% of the marbles.
Well, you might only get 37 lineups. Too,
right. So what do I care that Taijuan Walker is in like 80% of the remaining 37 lineups compared to the 500 that were just in there. Like I don't care about that percent. Like it looks like, oh wow, it's a lot. Like no, because you forcefully like imagine if I X'd out Glasnow and Jones. And go, wow,
you're getting 0 lineups.
I'm getting Justin Steele. Like, who cares what the percentage is? We're talking about like 6 plus EV lineups total.
Yeah, you might not. You might get 0. It might shoot out an error.
Right. So I think it's my attitude. This is more my style. This is my vomit stack style. The
vomit stack would be the Reds.
Right. Well, that's the point you made my point.
Yeah. The vomit stack isn't the A's against Christian Javier. The vomit stack isn't the Mets against Taijuan Walker.
The popular vomit stack. Like even back in my vomit stack
days,
I didn't
I'm
want to
not
play. I
puking on
didn't
my
want to play
shoes.
when the Tigers were going to be chalk at their cheap prices, and they're like, "Oh look, vomit stack. Blender's going to play the Tigers." It's like I don't play vomit stacks at 20% ownership. What are you stupid? These are horrible teams. Why would I want to buy into that? And I think that's what's going to happen with the Red Sox, and maybe the Mets and the A's are the properly choiced and owned vomit stacks that maybe I do make a lineup like this.
But isn't the concept of the vomit stack that the pitcher makes you vomit too? that the matchup itself also kind of makes you
No,
vomit?
no. The concept of the
No.
vomit stage
Okay.
is you're looking to get so many points at pitcher
Just looking at
that no one can make it up. And all you need is your vomit stack to put up 5 or 6 runs. Like you don't need like if you're gonna play an Astro stack today and they put up 5 or 6 runs and it's not on like multiple home runs, it's like that stack fails.
It's gonna kill
Right?
you.
They're too expensive. Like you're gonna have to hope that Jose Quintana gets 20 points. And I'd rather not rely on that. But I mean, if Glasnow gets 35 and Jared Jones gets 25, it's like that's going to be hard to make up with other pitchers.
There are so since the start of 2023, we've got a small sample size on a lot of these guys. But who do you think? There are 2 double-digit barrel rates allowed by pitchers on this slate. Do you know who those 2 pitchers are?
Is the first one Joey Estes?
No, it's actually Joey Estes. Let's say he doesn't cut. Yeah, his is like 19.1, but I X'd him out because of the sample. It's like 5 innings.
Right.
It's Jones and Glasgow, Jones and Glasnow, 10.3 and 10.4%. Those are the only high barrel rates on the slate. So there is possibility that if the bats connect, that's the big if. If the bats connect, they can get hit hard and can get hit hard often. I'm talking about don't talk yourself into a red stack, Alex. Don't do this. I'm not gonna.
Right.
That's not what I'm doing. But I'm saying that this is where the vomit stack comes in of the Reds. That if you're not playing Glasnow,
I'd rather. Wouldn't you?
I'm not talking about a full stack. I'm not talking about a full stack.
Right. Play the Cubs. You're in Chicago. Play the Cubs against Jared Jones then.
Yeah. Considering it. I don't know who I'm going to pitch outside of Jones. That's the problem.
No, you play Glasnow.
Probably go with Justin Steele. Yeah, it would be a Steele.
There you go.
And if Steele is rolling, then I don't have to worry about the pitch count. Then he's going to be at 84, 85 pitches, right? So he got pulled. He got yanked because he got shelled. So I don't. Hey, blind squirrel finds a nut.
Michael Townsend asks, "Is Glasnow good at holding runners? Why? It's 48 minutes in. I don't want to talk anyone into playing a Red Stacks today. They have a 2.59 implied run total. I don't know. Is he good on holding on? He barely gets runners to hold on. So, I don't know.
He's not walking a lot of guys anymore. He used to walk a lot of guys, and his walks are way down. His control is the Dodgers have him throwing strikes, period. And because he throws unhittable.
Pitchers go to the Dodgers, and that's what they do. They actually pitch well.
When a guy can throw unhittable strikes, the Dodgers tell him just keep throwing strikes. Right. It's the guys who throw hittable strikes where they say, okay, keep trying to pinch the edges and hope you get the ump. Hope you get the right ump. Hope we frame it right. The guy like Tyler Glasnow, he throws unhittable strikes.
Anything else? This is our first look, right? This is we literally both of us talked through a slate. I mean, before the show, I did not look at the slate.
I was importing the names as you were doing your intro,
right,
to my spreadsheet. So
So at least this shows to me like these are the thought processes you should have, especially in smaller field, smaller slate. You could obviously look at all the tools. It's not like you could hand build. You could still look at SimLabs and be a hand builder and play one lineup.
That's what I do.
Lineup HQ, and you can play 3 lineups. So it's not like I don't need any of this stuff. I'm not building 150 lineups. It's like, dude, I build hundreds of lineups just to see the possibilities and what sims prefer more than others, and then make my decisions from there. Why wouldn't I want to have that extra information rather than just like, oh yeah, Glasnow's great, and yeah, I'm gonna play Jared Jones, and I'll play the Red Sox. It's like, dude, you're playing you're gonna look and your lowest owned player is gonna be 22% owned. You're gonna unless you run out perfectly, how the hell are you gonna win first place?
Yeah, you run out perfectly, still finish 10th.
Right. So anything else on the slate? We managed to talk 50 minutes about a 5-game slate. I thought it was going to be like a short one.
We were talking like 25, 30 minutes at first, but things we think about. No, I'm good. I think we kind of did a little run through everything that came up in my head.
If you're a pre-member, obviously, Cheese is good. Dave Potts will have his $1 million musings. He always writes like 10,000 words. every day, every weekday for the slate, so you could read that. That's either going to be up soon or we may have already posted that already. That's for premium members. You know, you got to click on the link in the description. Sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. You get all the stuff we show on the screen. You get if you're a premium member. That's why we show it on the screen for you to go and get it. So you can do this type of stuff yourself in all the sports. And you can always join our Discord. Most of our channels are free in our Discord. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. We'll have Crunch Time. I believe just Crunch Time, or maybe Grinders. I don't know. There'll be a show. You'll see a thumbnail. There'll be a show later today to break down this slate in more detail. And once we actually have the actual lineups rather than the projected lineups. So stick around for that later tonight. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door. Give me those thummy thumbs, right? You can do those thumb exercises and push that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Hit the notification bell to always know when we go live tomorrow. I'll be on with Squirrel Patrol. We've been taking a look at what possibly is the worst UFC Fight Night card of the year. I looked because I had to put together my dummy lineup, Alex, and I looked through this and I'm like, wow. I understand why it's in the Apex.
Really?
They ain't going on the road with this one. It's like it's half the fight, Alex. Half the fights are between two fighters that have lost multiple times in the UFC only.
Wow.
So it's like 0-2 fighter versus 0-3 fighter.
Oh God.
0-1 fighter versus 0-2 fighter. And I remember seeing the fights that they lost in, and I'm like, yeah, they probably shouldn't be in the UFC. And now they're just saying, yeah, we're gonna just take all of those people and throw them against each other, just so one of these people get a win, and the other person can go back to bagging groceries in the supermarket, right? It's like,
yeah,
it's that type of slate. It's ugly, but we will talk about it tomorrow on the show with Squirrel Patrol. So obviously, hit that notification bell to always know when we go live. I'm always here for you. 11 o'clock Eastern, Monday through Friday, talking about all things you're thinking about. Daily fantasy, props, and pick 'em on RotoGrinders Today.